Pollen, Omnivore's Dilemma, food writer, blogger, critic. I had the fortune of going to UC Berkeley, where Pollen lives, and heard him talk when I was in school, and he gave this example about the FDA and the calorie, right? And so they labeled the calorie as bad, and you got things like the Atkins diet, which is kind of flown the coop. But what it does when you sort of put a label on one thing is what he said eloquently was you give everything else a pass when you're not looking at it. So I think in the presentation that you see here and the discussion that we'll have, we'll talk about how that kind of manifests itself and where we need to head. Where do I? I'm sorry?
There's a switch on the side of the remote. Sorry.
Okay. Switch. Yes, there it is. Good. So the good news, as Stuart alluded to, is that real estate investors are seeking ESG integration, and in the real estate space, you see there's studies done showing the value correlations between ESG, environmental social governance, or sustainability performance and financial performance. It's no surprise that the only asset class where you saw that 100% of the time correlated positively was in real estate because of the opportunities for energy efficiency and resource efficiency and all the things that Bill was talking about. I don't need to convince this crowd, but those studies are done and they're out there. So now, how many sort of investment managers, asset managers do we have in the room? If I could just see a quick show of hands. So we have maybe 2 to 10 and a few around the way. So the good news is that they're asking questions. The challenge continues to be the sort of proliferation of questions that are coming our way and what to do with it, and ultimately how that's sort of making its way through the knowledge chain. So we all want to be at a point where we are not just sort of ticking a bunch of boxes and this stuff is actually being integrated. There's a term out there, as it's at the top, ESG integration. What the heck does that mean? So without going into much detail on things about LEED, Energy Star, whatever, I sort of mentioned the calorie example. LEED, Energy Star, these are going to be the most familiar metrics in this audience. Most of you don't have to deal with the sort of strange energy performance certificate situation in Europe where you get all kinds of mixed signals. But needless to say, a lot of progress has been made through the use of these. But what's happening is as you start to go, as Chris alluded to, with things that Gresby is trying to do, go from the building to the portfolio, a lot of things get sort of not lost, but the messages get mixed, and the level of information that's actionable seems to sort of dissipate.